I thought it was the other way round. Okay, so Andalusia is actually pretty much permanently going to have high morale of armies. It's going to be 10% from mysticism and 15% from their personal modifier. Then if they get defensive ideas as well... Okay, I hadn't quite realised how militaristic Andalusia can be. That's kind of scary. And also the 20% fort defence, and a large amount of their country is mountains. So they are difficult to conquer. Interesting. Alright, let's take a look at Prussia. So Prussia has just formed, giving them, I believe, the Prussian monarchy, which is kind of redonkulous. They have militarism, which we'll look at in a minute. Unrest modifier of -2. War exhaustion reduction, which is very underrated and very strong, because even during wartime, that monthly war exhaustion is kicking in. Usually the natural war exhaustion reduces only when you're at peace. They have autonomy change, maximum absolutism +10, and then monarch military skill +3. So all of their rulers will have an absolute minimum of level 3, with the exception of King Elector Sigmund II, because he was already in power. But any of his successors will have an absolute minimum military skill 3. Usually 5 or 6, if we're being honest. Do you get more spread with higher development? Yes, you do. Particularly technologies like global trade, where having high development definitely does count into that. I don't know if it does for like manufacturers and enlightenment. Probably. But just deving up per point, you don't get points. But having high development, yes, you do. Especially in a centre of trade with global trade. Let's see what militarism does, because I have not looked at this mechanic for a long time. I don't even know where it's shown. Here it is. So right now their militarism is really, really low, but Prussia is a small country, which means that they will... Oh no, they don't. They're too big already. I was going to say they should have some natural growth of militarism, but they don't. But the decrease isn't very high. So they need to get their army tradition up. They need to get their legitimacy up. Legitimacy is 100, so that's not going to add any more. And the army tradition's only 25. So I suspect once that goes up some more, then they're going to build up that militarism. I don't know how much it adds. I suspect a fair amount. Because this is not what I would consider a large Prussia. This is like optimum size for militarism. So I suspect it really is just the fact that they don't have much land tradition yet. But they can spend 50 military power to increase that by 10. So they need to basically spend 500 military power to get it up to 100%. And when it is, they get some pretty hefty bonuses, which I really wish I could show you. But it doesn't look like I can. At least not while he's got so negative militarism. I suspect that's going to go up when they actually go to war. Because, like I said, it boosts discipline. And some other stuff. I'm actually going to Google that one because I'm kind of curious. What does militarism do again? I just remember it being good. Here for militarism. Here we go. It will allow them to have plus 10% discipline, plus 20% manpower recovery, and also 20% less land maintenance. Their armies will be cheaper. Their manpower recover 20% faster, which is actually a lot. Which means that Prussia absolutely does not need to worry about mercenary armies and can instead focus on drilling their forces. So drill plus militarization equals ouch. Equals very, very ouch. Okay, so what else is going on around the world? France is at war with Burgundy, so France is finally trying to expand. Looks like Savoy's doing the same. Bloody cold. Has anyone done any trade centre improving? That is a good question. Portugal has a little bit. Andalusia has not. Aragon hasn't, which is a mistake. Aragon really should. Austria hasn't. Denmark hasn't, and that's also a mistake. Denmark really ought to. Holland hasn't. Hang on, how much of that is Holland? Oh, only this bit. No, Holland hasn't. France hasn't. Like, nobody has. It's 1554. You guys should be on at least level 2s by now. Commonwealth hasn't, but they don't really rely on trade as much. Mamelukes. Come on, Mamelukes. Mamelukes have. And this is probably a very large contributing factor as to why the Mamelukes are so wealthy right now. So, good. Someone has. Ottomans haven't. Muscovy hasn't. Let's take a look around the world. Come on, Vijayanagara. You know you want to have. Okay, Vijayanagara has as well. Virtually all of their coastal stuff is level 2, so Vijayanagara will be rolling in trade income. Mamluks are making the most. They're actually making more than Ming. Commonwealth, like 40 ducats behind. That's the power of trade right there. And they are currently making 57 ducats from trade. Somebody like Aragon should be close to that. But they're not. Making 8 ducats from trade. Admittedly, Aragon's not here right now, so it's a little bit unfair taking them as an example, because the AI doesn't tend to be amazing at trade. But that should still be a thing. Who else? Andalusia, again, not here, should be making more than just 7 ducats from trade. Although Andalusia and Portugal and Aragon will all be struggling over the same centre of trade, admittedly, while the Mamluks have basically got a monopoly over the Alexandria trade node. Muscovy and Commonwealth are at war. Okay, so who is in this one? It is, I suspect, just Muscovy. That's Rostov. In this fight. Muscovy and minions versus Commonwealth and the Timurids. So the Timurids are after a piece of Muscovy as well. I wonder if the Commonwealth and Timurids have made a deal. Because I suspect that the Commonwealth will want to continue growing and basically become the new Russia. And the Timurids are definitely in a position to stop that. So Novgorod is already fallen. Helson is usually pretty good at blitzing down forts because he tends to build sieging armies. Like that one. 5 infantry, 10 artillery. 10 artillery is early game, the maximum that you can use to get +5 pips from sieging artillery. 10 artillery pieces equals +5 bonus for a level 3 fort or below. Once they get to level 5 forts, then that's less effective. Muscovy's army is sitting back there. What's Muscovy's army like? No combat bonuses. Their morale is 1.87 to Commonwealth's 4.4. Muscovy doesn't stand a chance. The only thing that Muscovy could do here is build like a line of mercenaries. Just 1 unit mercenaries and then just scorch earth everything. And that will cost the Commonwealth a lot of manpower. The Commonwealth is currently sitting at maximum manpower. But they are already taking attrition. Like Russia, you don't want to fight General Winter. And he is doing this in December. Thankfully, the winter doesn't seem to be too hefty. But yes, definitely suffering casualties there. 4% severe winter siege. Commonwealth chasing after the Muscovy army. Muscovy running. What is the tech difference? 11 for them. And Commonwealth's is 13. That's a big part of why the armies are so different. So the Muscovy is leading them on a merry chase, but Muscovy themselves are losing 5% attrition, while the Commonwealth is losing 4. But Muscovy is leading them through bad winter. Oh dear, that looks like it's going to be a fight. Muscovy has not noticed. They're still marching. Commonwealth's noticed. Muscovy's locked in. This is going to be a bloodbath. Am I even going to have time to click on them? Here, losing 1,000 men to 700. They're actually doing slightly more damage than I expected. But the difference in army quality here is just outrageous. This is going to be a stack wipe, I suspect. Oh, no, it wasn't. I'm actually somewhat surprised. I want to get some tea in a minute, but I also want to watch the war. So where's Muscovy running to? Let me see. Yeah. down to Nizhny Novgorod. It looks like the Commonwealth is chasing, but I don't think they're going to chase it too hard. They are, however, suffering a lot of attrition. See, at this point, this army behind this one, I'd probably split this one in half just to mitigate the attrition. Meanwhile, Sukhov has fallen, so the sieging army has moved up to Yaroslavl. And the Timurids have arrived. Timurids using infantry armies. Really? That surprises me. Shock damage plus 10. Morale of armies. Oh, they do. That's Muscovy. Land leader shock. Discipline. Does Timmy not get cavalry bonuses? Apparently not. Huh, interesting. Oh, another battle. This is going to be a stack wipe, because they're already on low morale. The amount of damage that the Commonwealth do is just ridiculous. Look at those numbers. Still not a stack wipe. Ah, oh, poor Muscovy. They're just being bounced around at this point. Now where are you running to? All the way back over to here. Just going to pour myself some tea, because I feel like I need it. Oh yeah, Muscovy get their Streltsky regiments, which do increased fire damage. Unfortunately, they're pike infantry, so I can't really see pikes doing much fire. Unless their pikes are just fake muskets, which is not likely. So Russia gets stronger later. They're not very strong yet. Tell them to pour the stream while I pour my tea. Nah. The war must go on. The show must go on. Alright, we're done. I'm really curious to see who takes the most territory from this fight. Because right now the participation is 97% Commonwealth, 2% Timurids. But then again, all of the major battles have so far been fought by the Commonwealth. And the Commonwealth have actually lost 20,000 troops already. Like, don't screw with General Winter. He will make you pay. 25,000... Oh no, it's artillery. Where's attrition? 22,000 lost through attrition to 1,700. Alright, so Muscovy is trying to sneak down Novgorod. Unfortunately, you don't really have the artillery to do this, so your artillery bonus is only +1. What the hell, Cornwall? What's Cornwall done? Ooh. Okay, so Ireland has decided to go after England, as has Denmark. I think Ireland is trying to cut off as much from Denmark as possible. And then Cornwall is fighting Ireland, apparently. I'm far more interested in this. So here comes another round. Mindboy again, not noticing the incoming doom. Oh, no, way too late. Way too late. You need to watch your armies during these times, buddy. Although I get it, like, wars are hectic. And again, 3.2 morale versus 4.5. 1.5 military tactics against 2. Stack wipe? Stack wipe. No, still not stack wipe. Okay, and then we have that weird bug where they don't retreat properly. Which I've seen a few times in Golden Century. But now, stack wipe. So Muscovy has no army anymore. And the Commonwealth have done 98%. Timurids 1%. I really don't know how much the Commonwealth's going to want to give the Timurids here. Because they are... I was going to say they're going to be both after the same territory. But that's probably not true, because if Timurids don't get cavalry bonuses, then they're not going to really care about steppes. While the Commonwealth really cares about steppes. So if we go to the simple terrain thing, I suspect the Commonwealth is going to take a lot of this. Because the Commonwealth wants that steppe territory so that he can make Cossacks. Cossacks, which get a combat bonus, plus the Commonwealth combat bonus, equals really, really painful. What forts are even left? I mean, we're at 77%. Muscovy could probably start sending peace offers. Doesn't look like there are any forts left. No, all the forts are down. So the Timurids did take the Nizhny Novgorod fort, from which they could control a lot of this area. Commonwealth still spreading south a little bit, but nowhere near as aggressively as I kind of expected. I guess during wars you don't really care about what you're occupying. Outside of the forts. That's the point, actually. Commonwealth does not have many fortifications. Who has the most? Prussia has 1. You need to fortify more than this, man. Denmark has a couple, but hasn't built anymore. I think those are all base game. Ireland doesn't have very many, but then Ireland doesn't really need them. France has built a couple. France is looking more fortified. Austria has definitely been building fortifications. See, this is better. Virtually all of Austria's provinces are going to be covered by at least 1 fort. Lagging a little bit over on this side, but that's territory I think that they've recently taken. And then also like... Oh, no, Salzburg and Lienz are both covered. So Austria's done a great job with that. Aragon, not amazing. Andalusia, also great job with the fortifications. I mean, this is all going to be mountains. Andalusia is going to be a real pain to conquer. A real pain, especially because they have the extra fort defense. Portugal also building forts. So because the Iberian Thunderdome has been so aggressive, Iberia is also more fortified as a result. Mamluks have got a couple. Mamluks are actually going after Karakanulu. Ottomans should not allow this. And in fact, weren't the Ottomans allied to Karakanulu? I have a feeling they were. Although Karakanulu currently don't have any truces, so maybe they weren't. Truce with Muscovy ends in 1559, that's 3 years from now. And I think that was from the original alliance break. Muscovy trying to build some more troops. I'm not sure that's the best idea. I think at this point you basically just want to go, I've lost. Save your money, save your manpower, and then build up again after that. Go after Kazan, for example. They're only allied to Avaria. If Muscovy went after against the Timurids, I reckon that would be a more even war. Muscovy against the Commonwealth without allies, Muscovy can't do it. Although manpower, we've lost 30,000 now. My Commonwealth does need to be a little bit careful that they don't get bled dry by this. And as I said, the damage that Muscovy could do here is not so much themselves against the Commonwealth, as to weaken the Commonwealth for other predators to jump on them. But I'm kind of interested in what's going on down here. If the Mamluks take over Karakanulu, what are the Ottomans going to do? The Ottomans already haven't expanded an awful lot. They've got the Crimea. Crimea's their march. Crimea was once a player, so that kind of upset the balance a little bit. But the Ottomans just have not spread eastward at all. And they're cut off by the Hungarian Commonwealth as well. Mamluks are straight up stronger than them. Now they are, yeah. Although, don't underestimate the Ottoman army. The Ottoman army was already the one that basically put paid to French ambitions early on. Like, their army still hits really hard because they have Janissaries. AO still seems to want to build up troops, but like you say, know when you're defeated, don't waste money. And Muscovy is a player, so they should stop. They should just go, okay, unconditional. We have special rules for unconditional surrenders. Although, granted, I'm probably one of the last players to press that unconditional surrender button. It's that matter of pride. You don't want to just throw in the towel like that, though sometimes you really just should. I don't think that a lot of this territory is going to be particularly expensive. What mission do you have? Break the Rus! Ah, yes, which gives you 24,000 manpower, so he's saving that as basically a quick manpower boost during a war. That's pretty wise. Oh, another fight. Muscovy's 8,000. That's almost guaranteed to be a stack wipe, I think. Yeah, France is gobbling up Burgundy. I mean, that was fairly inevitable. Burgundy's not a player. We had a really strong Burgundy. I was really pleased with how Burgundy had done. But now that France has actually got some friends that are willing to go to the bat for them, Burgundy was short-lived. Another stack wipe. That took seconds. The Danish holdings seem to have been flipped to Ireland. And Denmark is in fact pieced out. Are Ireland and Denmark allied? No. No, they are not. Although I have to say, I like Ireland's choices of allies. France, Aragon, Portugal, Andalusia and Holland. All of those are players. Actually, how have you done that? Both of your rivals, in fact, all of your rivals are players. Well, actually, England isn't anymore. But these two are. Ireland and Denmark are rivals. That's why those two aren't very friendly. I'm somewhat surprised that Denmark didn't try to take more. But that might have been because Denmark was trying to take this bit. And Ireland, frankly, just got there first. Timmy just made peace. Timurids are pushing in. I'm not sure what they were going after.